What is healthcare informatics? And today I'm going to answer the question here in my amazing kitchen, where I'm going to make after the video some nice sushi. So if you're interested how my sushi looks like at the end of the video, so stay tuned. So as the name says itself, healthcare informatics means that the medical industry comes together with the information technology to improve healthcare outcome. So we can say that the healthcare informatics is needed for the management and processing of healthcare and medical data. To give you a small example on how healthcare informatics is needed, so let's say we have a sick patient, and this sick patient is entering the emergency medical service, and of course when he enters this medical service, he has to give some information about himself, like his name, his age, and of course what kind of problem he has. So all those informations about this sick patient has to be stored somewhere, and with the help of information systems, which is also part of the healthcare informatics, to storage those data and of course to distribute to the right medical department the patient need to increase or to get his life quality back. So this is of course not all. We also need healthcare informatics for the measurements the patient gets, and those measurements are also producing some data which also has to be stored, distributed, and those data is also needed, for example, for the doctor who has to evaluate, who has to make the diagnosis based on the data he gets during the measurement, and also to decide what kind of treatment the patient gets. But of course we can use healthcare informatics, for example, if you want to develop or if you want to improve medical devices, for example with the help of new technology in software or also in hardware. So if you have the interest to study healthcare informatics, here you can see a small list about the topics you might face during your studies. So from my own experience, I study business information technology. This is of course not 100% similar to the healthcare informatics, but from my own experience, because it is also information technology based, this study, I would recommend you that if you have at least one interest in one of the both fields, like if you have the interest in medical field or maybe if you have interest in information technology, then healthcare informatics might be the right choice for you. But how does the future working space will look like when you finished your study in healthcare informatics? So usually people who finish their studies in bachelor or master degree, they work of course for big medical institutions like major hospitals, but they also have the possibility to go to the so-called free market, where they can work for medical companies like Xana, Optum, also maybe also one day for Change Healthcare. So I think like the most interesting question for you is, how much money can you earn actually if you finish your degree with bachelor or maybe master in healthcare informatics? I can tell you that you have to take this advice with some kind of salt of grain. So usually, like on the average, you're gonna earn like about 60,000 in a year, but maybe also 100,000. Of course, it depends on in which country you work. Of course, it depends on what kind of degree you have, and of course, how much experience, working experience you have in your CV. But like on the average, like I said before, 60,000, and the more work experience, it's also easily to go up to 100,000 in a year. Now let me taste them. Maybe I don't look professional, but you have done it by your own, so let's take a bite to see how good it is. One of the best sushis in whole Berlin.